I'm Joey Rasmus, and I am a new project consultant with Thomas Group. I'm a big believer in the power of process, so I'm going to be supporting a lot of what Thomas already does with regard to process audits, process mapping. But the really new thing that I'm bringing to the organization is game-based learning. The best way to understand game-based learning is to compare it with traditional training methods, which are usually presentation-based or rote memorization. Game-based learning, by contrast, creates a really dynamic training environment where leaders can apply real-world pressures on their trainees and therefore develop more robust skills. Before I started working with Matt and Thomas Group, I was coaching high-performance rugby. And even before that, I was actually a playwright, comedian, and actor. You kind of go through waves of working and having auditions, and in those breaks between work, when I was in the audition phase, I would work with this improv group that used improv games to teach corporate executive skills and help them maintain skills. And that was when I first got a taste of game-based learning, but I wasn't really aware of what I was doing. Fast forward, I move into coaching rugby and then coaching high-performance rugby. That's when I started really learning the methodologies behind teaching, and game-based learning was this new tool. I kind of put two and two together that, hey, we're doing the exact same thing, teaching skills on the rugby field as I was doing in the workplace. And I started working with Matt, and we started creating some workshops where we can take these really, really powerful training methodologies and introduce them to businesses to enhance their workplaces. A key part of my personal philosophy is that people very rarely fail or drop the ball because they're ill-willed. Usually there's some sort of underlying skill deficiency. If we want people to succeed, if we want people in our organization to help our organization succeed, we need to make sure that they have the right tools. I want to make sure that businesses have the right methodologies to give these people the right tools to make sure that these individuals are succeeding. I've personally used game-based learning to help teach the skills that correct a toxic culture. Because again, if there's a toxic culture, you don't have 20 guys that just don't want to be working together. You have 20 guys that don't know how to communicate properly in order to work together, and that just manifests into things like trust issues. It can solve retention issues because it shows an investment in your employees, makes them feel more valued by the organization and more likely to stay. And it also gives them the opportunity to grow within your organization because you're giving them the tools to move up the ladder and contribute more to your business. We also want to empower organizations to break out of periods of stagnation or decline. Putting on my economist hat, the way that we grow in the short term, the only factor of production we can influence is labor. And it's a lot cheaper to train the employees you have, to upskill them, than it is to bring in a whole new staff. We really want to give organizations the tools to enhance the human capital that they've got so they can grow, they can serve more customers. Then the last thing is it makes employees more adaptable because part of game-based learning is you're always problem solving, you're always doing process analysis, you're always being challenged to think critically. When people practice under real world pressures, when you put them into the actual match of life, and then something like COVID-19 comes along, they're able to succeed, they're able to problem solve. It's a really exciting tool for businesses.